John Brown here, another beautiful day. Here today with a clip talking about and titled, Who is the True Militia? When we're talking about the Second Amendment, who are they talking about when they say a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state? The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. So now we have to think about something here. This particular amendment in the Constitution was constructed in 1776. It's 2022 today. So what is going on here is, if you look at it, the people to form a militia. So who are the people that may have to protect themselves? Okay. If you go back at that point in time, you have a few things going on. I'm kind of going to preface a few things. You have the North American continent and you have the African continent. And then you have Europe. Europe is trying to and have found their way over to the North American continent. Upon getting to the North American continent, they find that there are people already here. There are many books that you can read, one titled Before Columbus. It's actually a quite older book. It's a little hard to find, but if you can find it, it's documentation in there about journals from Columbus when he had first landed and had already seen Ethiopian people, which that meant melanated people. However, not actual Ethiopians. That's not what we're getting at. The people that he saw were melanated people here already on the North American continent, and that was what you would call Foundational Black Americans, FBA. So when they're talking about a well-regulated militia in a free state, what they're talking about essentially is about the melanated people, Foundational Black Americans, being here already on this continent, and that this law was put in place so in case the government went against the natural born people of this continent within this new jurisdiction and laws that was forced upon them, they would be able to protect themselves if stuff were to get out of line. Okay? Now, one may sit back and say, well, what about the Europeans that were here at the time? Why weren't they able to protect themselves? Well, they are not a militia because they're not the ones having to stand up against a tyrannical government. When the government looks like you when you look in the mirror, you're not the one that has to stand up to a tyrannical government. That's just infighting within that ethnic group of folk. It's the same. It goes to the same principle of Russia right now. Okay, there's nothing racial going on between Ukraine and Russia. It's actually just two suspect white supremacist folks fighting amongst each other, and that is it. So it's the same concept. Of course, in modern day today, you have so many people that the waters have been muddied in that sense, because you have so many people now. Everybody feels that they're the militia. That's why you have these people on January 6th a few years ago that tried some quote-unquote insurrection, as they say. So with these types of things, you have these people in Detroit, you have these people in the Dakotas and Wyoming, where they have all of these militias in case of a quote tyrannical government. But the government cannot be tyrannical necessarily to you per se, because when you look in the mirror, the face of the government and the face that you see are the same. When you're a foundational Black American and you look in the mirror and you see yourself and then think about the face of the government, it does not look like you. So if that face does not look like you and they want to bring harm and injustice to you, you should have that right to bear arms. So this also goes to show that in 1776, when they were creating the Constitution, whoever made the suggestion to keep arms or have the right to keep and bear arms was a humanitarian wholeheartedly. they understood that at some point in time you may have somebody within this government that does not like FBA, Foundational Black Americans, and will decide to bring harm against them. Therefore, again, they should have the right to keep and bear arms and form a militia. And I'm going to finish with this. White folks, don't get your panties all in a bunch if you happen to come across this clip. Okay, John Brown here is Pro 2A. It is 2022. There's a lot of craziness out there, folks. I will always make the suggestion to educate yourself about firearms, your rights in the state that you live in, and the constitutional rights that are given to all American citizens. John Brown here. Thanks for listening. Make sure you click the like button, subscribe, hit that bell so you can get notifications when new clips do come out. Doing my part to replace the system of white supremacy with the system of justice.